finalizing a document which will compel students from vocational and technical training schools to undertake apprenticeship programs before entering the job market. The policy, when approved, will give legal backing to all vocational and technical schools in the country to dedicate a period for students to undergo a year's training. Consultant for the National Apprenticeship Policy, Dr. Charles Tay Amwati, has been explaining to Joy Business the importance of such a policy.
This has been a big issue. Employers are complaining that the reason they are unable to employ many of our youth, even from the universities, is because they don't seem to have the skills they need for the workplace, which then means that the training we offer our students in the schools and doesn't appear to be very relevant in many cases for the job market. And so we are coming up with this policy that will make apprenticeship a requirement for all students, especially those within the technical and vocational education, so that as part of their training within the schools, we still make provision for them to go to industry and acquire skills that they need for the job market. That is what the policy is all about.
Does it mean this crop of students, when they come out, will not be allowed to do national service again? Because national service, internship and all that, it seems related.
Definitely. So actually, national service will be also seen as an apprenticeship. So for example, if you're an engineering student, instead of posting you to go and teach in a secondary school, we could post you rather to go to industry that you can acquire some skills that will help you basically prepare you for the job market. So that is what the policy is about. And we are making this a requirement and an integral part of our educational system. If you go to many advanced countries like Germany, Japan, what is driving the economy is technical and vocational training. And so we want to make sure that skills acquisition is an integral part of our educational system. I think we've had enough of the book knowledge. I think what we need now is practical skills that when you come from school, you can quickly apply the skills on your job. Some can start their own businesses. If you are working for industry, the industry doesn't need to spend a lot of resources to train you, because whilst in school, you have also acquired the skills that prepares you for the job.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, Fred Asamoah, has been giving assurances the policy will be ready before end of the year.
Look at what happened to the banks recently with the collapse of the banks and the cleanup of the banking industry. Look at the amount of money that was lost. Look at the impact it had to people, individuals, businesses. I'm sure there are companies in Ghana that closed because they didn't have access to funds that they had as deposits in banks. So there's that financial impact on the measures that we take as leaders to prevent our critical systems from subject to attacks. I can think of our healthcare, our military, our government, sensitive information, even private information of high-profile people. Okay, who is going to implement those defenses or understand how cyber attack works to mitigate the impact of those kinds of breaches? So this effort or this collaboration is looking at tooling the average cyber defender, working for any kind of organization, equipping them with the skills, the combat readiness, the skills that they can use to thwart or stop attacks while they are happening. What we've observed is that not all attacks have to end up in a very compromising situation or end up leaving a bad image or reputation for the organizations that get attacked, because they could be stopped. But the lack of detecting and preventing them whilst they are happening is what makes it a crisis.
Well, so we're Ghanaian information security management firm Global Secure Solutions, partnering with Cloud Range, an American company, has developed a cyber security solution to introduce Cyber Range to African markets. Cyber Range is a cyber attack simulation training platform and is the first of its kind in the world. What the clip you just saw was the security skills consultant for the program or the solution, Edem Clement, explaining how the partnership would help tackle the cybersecurity threats that Ghana faces. It's still on the marketplace. Moving on, after the Bank of Ghana introduced new 100 cedis and 200 cedi notes as well as the 2 cedi coin into circulation months ago, some traders say they are bearing the brunt of the usage of these new currencies. This is because they find it difficult obtaining change for buyers who use the higher denominations. Alberta BCU has been speaking to some traders within the Central Business District of Accra who told her that even though they hardly come by the currencies in the market, the few in circulation on the market has been affecting smooth transactions.
I have here in my hands the new 100 cedis notes and the 200 cedis notes in Makola, Accra. I want to find out how traders are conversant with these new notes.
Since morning, so how am I going to change this one?
So does it mean anybody who comes with this?
It's difficult. In fact, from this line up to here, I'm the only person who have been changing for them. So it's difficult for me to change this one. This money, I don't meet me like this. I don't like this money. To be frank.
So imagine you have about 4 customers coming here with this 200 Ghana cedi note. What's going to happen?
Sometimes I'll let some of them go because I don't have change. What am I going to do? So I'll let them go.
Let's take this. How much is this?
It's 5 cedis.
It's 5 cedis. Okay, so hold it for me. And I have in my hands 200 cedis and 100 cedis. So I want this.
Hey, do you want me to faint? I'm fainting.
Why are you fainting?
You are buying one. You have this money.
Yes.
Hey, collapse. You want to broke? You want to collect all my goods?
So is it that you won't sell it to me?
I don't even have change. I don't have change because I come here since morning. I've sold just one top. You have given me this money. I don't have change. You want me to collapse this one? I will collapse. Hey, I don't have change.
Okay,
I am collapsing.
So does it mean that you are losing out of business? So let's say that you get like 5 people coming here with either 100 cedis or 200 cedis. Are you going to sell to them or not?
I don't have change, though, so they will go. They say, "Scan, they get an enemy. I can find them and pay the aba. My baby, who gets us the 100 Ghana the aba. Scan, I can find them. Me your sister. Yes, you are here. So you can crack a little quantity. To me, your sister and sister have been.
So she tells me that it has been very difficult. It will be very difficult for her to change 100 cedis note if I'm buying a mango of 10 Ghana cedis. Change has become a problem for her.
Now I'm 1 million.
Okay. So she has also been telling me that she has seen some before, but people who approach her to buy her pepper, if she doesn't get change for them, she makes them go away. Would want to go to the market with 100 cedis and the 200 cedis note. You saw for yourself. Even though the Bank of Ghana has named this as a legal tender, but some traders are not able to take this money because they are finding it difficult to give out change. Alberta BCU reporting for Joy Business.
Let's now cross over to Kumasi, where operators of waste recycling business estimate Ghana can create up to 5 million jobs to generate 2 billion Ghana cedis annually by recycling 82% of our plastic wastes. Only about 6% of plastics is currently recycled locally, with more room for expansion. In June 2019, Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng announced a fund by the Bank of Ghana to deal with the plastic waste menace. In Kumasi, plastic scrap collection is gradually becoming a booming opportunity for most unemployed youth, including students. Love FM's Nana Yaojima has been following the exploits of other people, some of them physically challenged within the value chain. He filed this report.
On a cold Harmattan morning, a band of teenagers, all students, gather around a weighing scale, closely reading measurements for their respective consignments. They take turns to lower their materials and read in excitement figures displayed on the scale. Idrusu Ayamba is a junior high school student of Asokwa Amekom MA Basic School. He is a member of the group which spent the vacation period scavenging for plastic scraps for sale.
This morning, we went to the refuse dump close by to pick the scrap plastics. With what I've gathered so far, I will make between 10 and 15 cedis. The job is very good, but I haven't been able to make much this vacation.
Haruna Brahma decided to buy plastic scraps alongside metal since demand began picking up about a year ago. With time, the plastics now fetch more money than popular scrap metals. The plastics are taking over the business. We sold some to the agents on Monday and Wednesday. Today is Friday, and with what we have gathered so far, we will be calling the agents tomorrow to pick the next consignment. A ton of plastic scrap is sold for 1,600 cedis, while the same quantity of metal is sold for 1,200 cedis. On the premises of Environmental Synergy Initiative at Pakoso in the Asokwa municipality, plastic scraps cover every part of the space. The materials are ready to be crushed into pellets for the recycling companies. With crouches to keep a balance, founder of the initiative, Ms. Bahu Abdul Wahab, takes stock of plastics from Brimer's yard. In less than 3 months, the company has been able to crush almost 13,000 tons of plastic scraps. Ms. Bahu, who until late 2019 worked as a mobile money agent, explains how he conceived the idea.
I did geography and rural development, and as part of geography, KNUST. As part of the geography, you do what we call environmental systems. So within the environmental system, it's an optional course, so you have to opt for it. So I did opt for it because I knew, or I have interest in trying to see what I can do best to help the environment. So that was where the idea started.
No business as usual, an entrepreneurship training project for the youth in Asokwa municipality started through the European Union and SOS Children's Village, equipped him with the necessary entrepreneurship training and coaching needed to ensure success of the startup. With 11 direct employees currently, the entity takes supply from 13 agents with at least 10 collectors each. Rose is one of the 2 women who come into contact with the plastics immediately they are brought out. She sorts them into colors and types in preparation for grinding.
I am one of the first people to be employed here. It has been good so far. I am not ashamed to work on plastic scrap because it sustains me and my son, whose father is no more.
The stock is then carried in batches, transferred into the grind machine with huge opening at the top, operated by 2 young men. The product, which is now in smaller particles, are gathered and poured in a tub and then washed thoroughly in soapy water to rid it of dirt and odor. It is then bagged for the market. Ms. Bahu looks in future to take up recycling of the plastics, perhaps in a bigger space. It may be a tall order, but determination abounds in the eyes of the man despite his physical disability. For Joy Business, Nana Yaujima reporting.
And still in the Ashanti region, the 3-year closure of Anglo-Gold Ashanti mines at Obuasi came with the virtual collapse of several of the mining giant's social subsidiaries, with the exception of AGA School. Managing Director of the mines, Eric Esobontin, reveals decoupling of the school's management from the mines to give it autonomy made a difference. Ohemin Terry has more in this report.
Anglo-Gold Ashanti closed its Obuasi mine for repair and maintenance in 2014. The action affected several of the company's social management portfolios, including health, infrastructure improvement, among others. Officials, however, say its education section, especially running of the AGA school at Obuasi, braced the storm. For years, the school has maintained leadership in BEC performance ranking in the Ashanti region. Passes with distinction accounted for 89% of 100% success in 2019 BEC examinations to place first in the Ashanti region. Managing Director Eric Esubontin tells JoyNews management foresaw the challenge ahead and quickly set up an independent board to run the school.
The challenge that we faced recently, and in particular in 2014, when the mine itself was put on care and maintenance, was more a matter of if the parent company itself is not in existence or is struggling, what impact was it going to have on the school? We knew it was going to be a problem, so what we did was that we reorganized the school and set it up as an autonomous entity with its own independent board of directors, with its own management and executives, so that the school could be financially, managerially and everything independent and run on its own. When we did that, we realized it helps sustain the school. The school was able to survive even though the company itself had suspended production. It's now recognized as the best performing school in the Ashanti region, going by the recent BEC results. So we're expanding it. It's not for profit. So whilst we guarantee or we strive to provide high quality education, arguably the best in the Ashanti region, it's also affordable. And it is some of the support, as you've seen today, that the company provides the school that allows it to keep being affordable to the average family in Obuasi. As we mentioned at the event, at the moment, if you look at the total student population of the school, over 80% of them are from households or parents who have nothing to do with the parent company, Anglo Gold Ashanti.
Mr. Subontin disclosed this at the inauguration of a 12-unit classroom block for the school. The 450-capacity block was built to the memory of the late senior sustainability manager, Nana Ampofu-Bequin, who died in lorry accident last year. Anglo Gold Ashanti's annual budgetary allocation for AGA school is in excess of 100,000 Ghana cedis. Peter Atakato is the executive director of AGA school.
Between 2015 and 2019 January, when the mine was under care and maintenance, it was not only economic situation in Obuasi, but enrollment in schools were greatly affected because families had moved out of Obuasi. But with the coming back of Anglo Gold Ashanti, we have new employees in town who have brought their wards. The mine only has about 15% of our enrollment being wards of workers of the mine. Majority are for the community.
From Obuasi for JoyNews, Ohime Interior reporting.
And that'll be it for the marketplace today. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good afternoon.